Nuns on the bus. Recently, you returned from, I think, a 16-day, 29-city tour, looking at the implications of the budget for those who are in need of the safety net. Could you sort of review for us a little bit what drove the idea, so to speak, of the bus tour?
Well, as we were joking this morning, it's a vehicle for change. The fact is that we had all this notoriety because many of your viewers may remember that the nuns got criticized by the Vatican, and we're not used to having the focus on us. And so at Network, we said, how can we lift up our mission? And we asked for help. And in brainstorming, we came up with this idea of take it on the road. We've been working against this House budget for 2 years because it's going to decimate people at the margins of our society. And so our effort was to lift up the truth, educate people about what's actually going on, not just the soundbite. And the fact is that people will be hurt in this House budget, and that there is the faithful budget alternative. That's what we were working on.
Now, I know you heard a lot of firsthand accounts of the implications of potentially losing aspects of the safety net. Is there one that sort of sticks out?
In Cincinnati, Ginny, who came to our, what we called our friend raiser. It was just a gathering.
Friend raiser?
Friend raiser. A gathering of like-minded folks just to be supportive to each other. And she came directly from her sister's memorial service. Her sister, Margaret, died at age 56 because she lost her health care when she lost her job. She, in the recession, I mean, she was just laid off after, I think it was almost 20 years of working for this company. She loses her health care. Then she develops cancer, has no access to diagnosis and treatment, and died from colon cancer unnecessarily. And Ginny brought me Margaret's picture because Margaret had always been an advocate herself. And I've heard from Ginny several times that she knows that Margaret would be so pleased that I can lift up Margaret as a sign that no more Margarets should die. This is wrong. In the richest nation on earth, this is wrong that Margarets die because they don't have access to health care. When you lose your job, Margaret would be covered by the Medicaid expansion. That's why we've got to ensure that every state expands Medicaid to make sure that this pro-life stance is reality for the people in our world. We've got to make it happen.
Sister Simone, there's just so much that you heard on this bus tour, and I imagine you're still processing internally and intellectually what it all means. But at this moment, can you capture a takeaway that you hope that policymakers on both sides of the aisle will either hear from you or maybe get on a bus and hear themselves?
Well, we're actually in the process of inviting both presidential candidates to come with us, or their surrogates to come with us and meet these people. Because that's it. People need to meet the people who actually suffer. And I think the takeaway is that I discovered that nuns everywhere create beauty, create relationship, create community. And in some ways, in the low-income communities, people know you have to share. But it was in the middle class and upper middle class communities when we did our fundraisers that people are so alone, so fearful, because they've got this idea they have to do it alone. Live in their gated communities and not talk to anybody and be afraid. What we need to know, what we need to rediscover as a people is that it's all about we the people, all of us together. We have to talk to each other. We have to engage these hard problems, not with political sound bites and games. That's ridiculous. Governance is all about solving our problems. That's what we need to do.
Let's turn to the Affordable Care Act, fondly known as the ACA. Now, the Supreme Court found it constitutional, yet we see a number of governors asserting that they're not going to set up exchanges. This is a critical issue for the network, the notion that everybody ought to have access to health care. What are you doing to mobilize in those states or to prevent other states from not taking this up, or is it a different strategy altogether?
Well, we actually have a 50-state strategy, though we may wear ourselves out doing it. But we're organizing teams of Catholic sisters in every state to go lobby their governor. And they agreed to 3 things. Be nuns on the bus, and we have car magnets, so they'll look like they're on the bus. We can't afford to wrap the whole bus again. And then go lobby on behalf of all those who would benefit from the Medicaid expansion, lobby the governors. Then they have to go lobby their congressional representatives to make sure it's fully funded, because that's the thing that's scaring the governors, is that they'll have the mandate but not the money. We have to make sure they have the money. And in the richest nation on earth, we've got the capacity. We are not bankrupt. That is ridiculous. We're bankrupt when it comes to political will. The last thing they promised to do is to do press at every turn. So every time they lobby, they also tell the press what the results were, so we can hold the elected officials accountable. That's what we're about.